What's going on, Saints fans? In today's video, we're going to go through the latest rumors around the black and gold. Then on top of that, we're going to answer some questions and take some hot takes from the Who Dat Nation and those of them who are subscribed to the channel. So if you want to be a part of the next show, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. That way you can join our live show every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, and that way you can join the program. Now, Althea, she asked this question in the comment section earlier in the live show, and I will say this. We had an entire part of the video ready to go about the Alvin Kamara situation, because if you guys didn't know, if you guys have been, not paying attention to it, Alvin Kamara, he actually put his mansion for sale in New Orleans recently. He listed it for sale, and that put a lot of Saints fans into a spiral and made them worried. And I can understand that. You see a player put a house up for sale and you're like, oh my God, he's leaving. Oh my God, he's moving. And there is reason to kind of believe that, because the Saints could decide to move on from Alvin Kamara if they cut him. They could save almost $19 million, or about $19 million in 2025. Now, New Orleans and Kamara have not agreed on a contract extension yet, but it is worth noting Kamara himself has said he doesn't want to continue to have conversations. He wants to focus on the season. This is a conversation he wants to revisit at the end of the year. Now, why I'm telling you not to panic, there's a couple key details here. Well, first things first, Alvin Kamara, he is the realtor that put the house up for sale. And who's Alvin Kamara? Well, that's Alvin Kamara's brother. There you go. And then there's also this context to add here. They put up a post of Alvin Kamara's house, the sale and the listing and all that stuff, and saying AK's house? Yes. Why? Upgrading. Why is he selling the house? Because he's upgrading. And on top of that, he has multiple properties in New Orleans. So here we go. Alvin Kamara said it himself. I wouldn't say that I had an exact plan, but I had plans. And I'm pretty intentional when it comes to those moves that I make with real estate. I got other properties around the city too. So my take on all this is don't read too much into it. I can understand why you might be concerned. There has been instances in the past across the league where a player listing their house for sale means that they're headed out. But Alvin Kamara has spoken many, many times about how he wants to finish his career as a New Orleans Saint, and he wants to be a Saint for life. So I'm really not worried about that. He's staying with Matt Bowers. Matt Bowers offered Alvin Kamara to live with him, so that's what he's doing. He's saving some money. His brother's selling the house. Sounds like a pretty good deal and a pretty good family business right there. But what say you, Saints fans? Do you think Alvin Kamara will play with New Orleans his entire career? I think he will. I think that this extension will get taken care of maybe midway through the season. Maybe they're just like, you know what? Kamara has done good enough. We're going to go ahead and give him the back-end money where we give him the extra couple years. There's no guaranteed money after 2025, so we're going to give him the guaranteed money and the guaranteed years and time to play here in New Orleans to finish out his career. I think that's going to happen, but if you disagree, type no. Now, coming up next, we got questions from our subscribers. Althea asked a great question. Funny enough, it's what we talked about here for the past few minutes, but we have a lot of more great questions that we got to dive into. But before we do that, I got to say thank you to Game Time for sponsoring today's video. And if you love going to live events, you have to check out the Game Time app. They take the guesswork out of buying tickets to college football, NFL games, concerts, and other live events. When you download the Game Time app, you create an account and use code CHATSPORTS, you will get $20 off your first purchase. And you can use those savings to get some gear or concessions at an LSU, Tulane, or Saints game this season. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all of the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So Queen Courtney coming in with this question. What happens with the offensive line injuries since some of their guys back up each other? Well, that is true. There is some truth to that. Tex, if we could actually pop up the offensive line depth chart. you'll see what Quinn Courtney means. So the starting offensive lineman, you have your left tackle is Talise Fuanga, left guard is Lucas Patrick, center, right guard, right tackle. You see it on your screen. But Lucas Patrick is the backup center, and Landon Young is the backup left tackle and right guard. So, Quinn Courtney, to your point, what happens if there's some injuries? Well, they're going to have to shuffle some things around. Maybe they have to go sign a player. They elevate somebody from the practice squad. That's why they have the practice squad available. So that's what I think will happen if, they do get injured. How many sacks do you think Bresee is going to get this season? Let's see. Last year, I think he had 3.5. Let me make sure that's correct. Last year, he had 4.5 sacks. He had 4.5 sacks. I think he has 6. I think he has 6 or 7. Like, I truly do think that he's going to have a good year. He's going to be involved in those NASCAR packages where you're going to have Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Chase Young, and Bryan Bresee. Unbelievable. Cam Jordan rushing up the middle next to Bryan Bresee, that'll be a lot of fun. I think Bryan Bresee was a home run draft pick, and I think he's going to continue to be a great pick for the foreseeable future. I'm excited to see what he does in year 2. Year 2. Sosa, what's going on, man? You see about Michael Thomas. Should we bring him back for cheap? Yeah, Michael Thomas suspended for 1 week. It's kind of crazy to think you got suspended from a job you don't have. I mean, I just don't think that the bridge is there. Like, for the absolute vet minimum, sure, why not? Saints could use some wide receiver depth. But the other thing is, I don't think he wants to come back to New Orleans under the current regime. I know he doesn't like Dennis Allen. I know he doesn't like playing with Derek Carr. It just, I just don't think it's going to happen. Maybe Michael Thomas comes back in the future, but not with Dennis Allen as the head coach. Dylan, what the Saints' final record this season? What's the final record? I'm going to go with a 10-win season, 10-7. I think their offense will be improved. I think their defense got better, and I think they will be a better team. I'm not buying the hype of Atlanta. I don't understand, like, in all these power rankings, why Atlanta and why Tampa Bay are like 10, 12 spots higher than New Orleans. I don't get it. They're the same teams. They're not much different. The Falcons just historically cannot do things correct. So, yeah, 10 wins for the Saints is not out of the question. I don't buy the hype for the rest of the teams in the NFC South. Vinny, what happened to Kool-Aid? He was back. Not on the practice report. So good news there. He did not change his number, but he was back at practice. So good news around Kool-Aid McKinstry. Do we have other questions as well? We're seeing if we got some more questions. Friendly reminder, if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up icon, subscribe today if you guys want to join the program and be a part of the show in the future. Kool-Aid McKinstry, just, I do want to say this around him. I think he's going to be a good player this year. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what New Orleans can do, and I'm excited to see his development. I think he's going to be a good player, and I think that he's a guy that long-term can be really effective for New Orleans, and I also think that he's a player long-term that can replace Paulson Adebo if the Saints have to move on from him. He can fill in for Marshawn Lattimore if he misses for injury. So he's a perfect scheme fit. I was in love with this draft pick the second the New Orleans Saints put this one in. I'm really excited to see it. Really friendly reminder, if you haven't already, we're going to round out today's show with this. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell, and y'all stay golden. We will see you next time.